In this video, I'll be exploring the various map components available in KX dashboards and demonstrating how to create a simple interactive demo to showcase their functionality. Maps provide a clear and intuitive way to display data that has a geographical dimension, such as sales per region, population density, or store locations. The dashboard's UI includes two different map components, both displaying geographical data but used for different purposes. To use the map external API component, you need a stable internet connection and access to external APIs. If you need to use maps offline, the map component, which I'll be demonstrating today, allows you to visualize geographical data without the need of an internet connection or access to external APIs. Let's start by dragging an overlay panel onto the canvas and placing the map component on top. Start by creating a new point layer and creating a new data source called airport data. Within this query, we're going to create 3 view states, all of type list. We'll create a new view state called continents where we are manually going to include the codes for each continent. Next, we're going to create a view state called country where we will assign it the country US. And for the view state airport, we will assign it the value large airport. Return to the point layer dropdown and correspond the ID to be the ID column, and assign the latitude and longitude data to the correct columns. Next, we'll customize the tooltip so that instead of just displaying the airport ID, it will show additional details, including the airport type, code, and the country it's located in. Also be sure to check the Show Tooltip box above. Now let's add filters to refine the points displayed on our map. To do this, we are going to add a layout panel to the left of the map, followed by adding a data form component. Create a new data source called form, which will contain the data stored in our 3 view states: airport type, country, and continent. By default, these parameter types will be text input, so let's change these to be a drop-down list. Create a new data source that returns a distinct list of the different airport types within the airports table. Make sure to enable multi-select and show search and change the field summary threshold to be 0. Here I am editing the display name to make it clear that this filter is for the different airport types. Repeat a similar process for the continent parameter, but for this data source we'll create a table that includes both the continent codes and their corresponding names. Again, enable multi-select and show search and change the threshold to be 0. We can configure the data source to map the backend value to the continent code while displaying the full continent name to the user. A quick tip to reduce clutter from having too many data sources is to create a group and store all related data sources within it. But getting back to the countries data source, instead of displaying a full list of unique countries, we want to filter it to only show the countries that belong to the selected continent. Make sure to assign the continent view state to this data source. The final step is to tick Load Points in View and zoom on Select. These features make the map more interactive by ensuring that only the points within the current view are loaded. And now we can test our filters against the map. An additional visual we can add is a bar chart that displays the selected values according to the filters. Start by dragging a Chart.gl component onto the bottom left-hand corner of the canvas. Create a new data source within our map group called Airport Data Summary. This query will count the number of airport IDs and group these by country according to the filters that are applied. Make sure to assign all 3 view states. Next, let's tidy up the chart. Change the type of chart from bubble to bar and change the name to be ports per country. Along the x-axis, we will have countries, and along the y-axis, we will have the number of IDs. Change the format of the x-axis from linear to category, and change the numeric format of the y-axis to be smart number.